All right, welcome to this month's office hours call. If you're joining us live, welcome. If you're catching the replay, hello to you as well. We're glad that you are here. This is our September office hours call. We always run these calls and it's a lot of fun. Today, we're going to have some new announcements, some exciting announcements that are going on. And as you are joining, go ahead and say hello in the chat. Let us know that you're here watching live, or if you're watching the replay, then just put hashtag replay so we know that you were able to catch this later. All right, today we got a lot to cover and not enough time to cover it all. So we're going to be covering some of my monthly tips, tools, insights, products, and strategies. We're going to be answering your questions. So please, if you have a question, now's the time to ask. Go ahead and throw it in there. I'll be answering some of those questions coming up. Just put a capital letter Q, your question. That would be awesome. And we'll cover anything, whatever it is that you want to talk about, whatever is going on in your business, in your world, and you just want some feedback. That's what this call is for, is to provide a little bit of coaching, accountability, feedback, encouragement to help you. So doesn't matter the question, throw it in there, let me know. All right, so we got some exciting announcements that I wanted you guys to hear about before the rest of our community is going to be hearing about, I think, starting tomorrow. So we have been, as a team, we have been working quietly for a few months now on 3.0 version of Lab. And we've been looking at what you guys engage with. What is it that you truly want to get out of Lab? What can be the most helpful to you? How can we serve you at a higher level? How can we get you results quicker? What are we not doing that we could do? What are we doing that's maybe not as helpful that we should stop doing? All that. And so I'm really excited about this because I'm going to be revealing from tomorrow until next week, we're going to be opening the doors to 3.0. Right now, Lab's been closed since June, and I closed it on purpose from new enrollments so that our team and I could work on building out Lab and making Lab even better than it is already. And so this new Lab 3.0, we are doing a slight name change to get a little bit more clarity about what Lab is about. We've got a new success map that we're going to be showcasing, as well as some letting you guys know kind of what the new contents are going to be. So you're going to see in the members area over the next week, things are going to be shifting around. So pardon our dust, because our team is working hard to make Lab even better. So let me get into some of that before we get into the other stuff so that you guys know exactly what's going on. So we got Dale here from St. Paul, Minnesota. Welcome. We got Michelle here from Georgia. Phil is in the house from Virginia. Awesome. Love it. So let's see here. See if I can hop over to the screen. There we go. And all right. So this is Lab as we know it now, but there's a lot of stuff about Lab that is we're working on behind the scenes that you won't see. So let me start first of all. I'm going to come back to this one. So let me start first of all with our new logo. So the new logo is we're going to do a slight name change. Still going to be called Lab because that's what most of us call it, as Lab. But for the last several years, it's been Fast Track Lab. What we're doing is we're renaming this Messenger Launch Lab. And so it's anybody with a message, writers, speakers, teachers, coaches, trainers. And we have a newly improved, and we're still making a few slight tweaks on our success path. So working on this design in Canva, we're calling it the Messenger Launch Plan. And our goal with this, and this may change within the next week or two because this is still all wet cement for us, and we'd love to have your feedback too, is we want to get more and more clear about what are the stages. So as it stands right now today, I want to just talk you through real quickly the 5 stages of launching a profitable online business. So stage one, and I'll zoom in here a little bit so this will be easier to see. Stage one is audience. And this is where a lot of people get tripped up. They get held up. It becomes very complex, difficult. And sometimes you can spend months here. And sometimes you skip this only to later decide, you know what? I never really clearly defined my audience. Has anybody been there? I know a lot of people have done that, where you get so excited, you start the blog, start the podcast, you start doing your thing, and then you realize, I've not clearly defined who my audience is. That's what stage one and all the content that we're going to be putting into Lab, and it's going to be a lot of new content, my latest thoughts on really helping you narrow in on a profitable audience, an audience that spends money, an audience that needs your tools and training. We're going to help you with that. Then stage two, once you know your audience, it's really getting clear on what your message is. So once you have a specific audience to serve, you need a clear message. So in phase two or stage two, we're going to be teaching you how to create that powerful message by helping people solve problems. And so stage two content in the new Lab is going to be all about helping you really get clear on that message, so that when you have a tagline or when you express your message, people are going to raise their hand and be like, yes, that is for me. And you're going to be able to connect with them in a more powerful way. Now, stage three is about offer. And now that you know your audience and you know what your message is, we got to bring those together and say, okay, how are we going to help people solve the problem? We've identified who we want to help and what problems they need solving. That's our message. So how do we best help them? Is that a course? Is it a membership site? Is it high-ticket coaching program? Is it a low-ticket membership? There's lots of options here. And what we're going to help you with in stage three is really dialing in the exact offers that you need to have. And so that's what stage three in the new Lab is going to be about. Stage four in the new Lab is going to be about the plan. And what happens here is a lot of people launch their online business, their blog, their website without a plan. But that's not going to be you, because we're going to help you and teach you how to actually plan your vision out, how to actually bring all this together. You know your audience, your message, you've got your offers dialed in. Now we need to create that communication plan. For example, I'll give you a quick example. And we see this a lot with our insiders, and this is what's really given me the aha, is what happens with a lot of insiders if they're coming in the program and they're at what I would call level 1 and level 2. We've got 6 levels in insider, but you're at level 1, level 2, you're still trying to get your branding, your messaging, your website launched, your audience, your offers. And so what we noticed is that we often would start with, okay, what's your domain name? They would get their domain name. And then we would say, okay, now are you going to build it on WordPress, Kajabi, System.io? Are you going to put it on Wix? And then they choose. And then that's when it gets really hard. Because then they're like, what do I say on the homepage? I don't know what words to put. I don't know how to build out my other pages. What do I put on my about page? I want to coach, but I don't know what to put on my work with me page. And so they become lost. And so what we're going to be doing with this level 4 plan, and this is even good for you guys and gals that already have a website, is to really take time to think through and help you understand how you create that communication plan, the copywriting, the words that you're putting on your pages, the words that you're putting on your sales pages. How do you really flesh out that plan so when it comes time to build, you're ready? You know exactly what to put in. And that's what the build phase is. I'm really excited about this build phase because in this build phase, we're going to have tutorial videos for Kajabi, for System, potentially for other platforms. So let us know what platform you're on, and we may be able to create tutorial videos on that. And basically, stage 5 is going to be all about helping you, give you the tutorials you need to really create your platform. We're even thinking about going, as far as into your social media, personal brand platform. How do you do that as well? And then you finally reach launch. Now, a lot of our content that we have right now is not going away. Some of the content will fit into one of these 5 stages, so we may just put them into that particular stage inside of the new lab. But everything else is going to be in what we're calling the Launch Vault. And in the Launch Vault is where you can go for information on traffic, leads, sales, things like that. So let me know what you think about this. Again, our team and I are still crafting this, but you're going to see over the next 2 weeks, you're going to start getting access to some of this roadmap and some of the content. And then moving forward, one of the things we're thinking about is having kind of a monthly theme. And the theme is going to have 2 to 4 content pieces that is going to be added into Lab around that theme, whatever that theme is for the month. So for those of you that are live or watching the replay, what do you think? What do you think of the new Messenger? This is really 3.0 version. I've been doing this membership for going on 7-8 years now, and this is our 3.0 version. So we don't try to mess with it a whole lot, but we're at the place now where we really think that we can really dial in what Lab is intended to do, and would love your guys' feedback. Are you excited about this? There's more to come with this, but I think that is good now. So to officially launch this new 3.0 version of Lab, next week, you can get it on your calendar. We haven't announced this yet. It's officially being announced tomorrow. We're going to do a workshop. And now this workshop is going to be next Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night, 8 o'clock Eastern. And we're doing this on Zoom meeting where you can have your camera open. I want you to think of this as like a virtual version, maybe a simplified or virtual version of your Message Matters Live. So you're going to be able to be live with me. It's completely free, but I would encourage your lab members to be there too. Now, the purpose of me doing this, I can tell you guys this because you're lab members, is at the end of this 3-day workshop. It's going to be from 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern, Thursday, Friday, Saturday next week, is that at the end of it, we are going to open the doors to Lab 3.0 for any non-lab members to come join us. So, but you guys are still going to get a ton of value out of this because, as you know, if you attend my events or my challenges, the workshops I do, it's not one big promotional plan. It's going to be new content. It's going to be new tools, new resources, maybe a new workbook, and you're going to get a lot of value out of this. So if you want to save the date, we're officially going to be announcing it to our list starting tomorrow. But it's going to be a week from tomorrow, September 22nd, 23rd, and 24th, 8 p.m. It's going to be a Zoom meeting where you can have your video on, ask questions, join us 8 to 9, Thursday, Friday, Saturday night next week. So now that I got those announcements out of the way, and I already see a question from Phil. I see actually a couple questions in here. If you guys got questions and you just joined us late, go ahead and ask your questions. I will be answering your questions here shortly. But I wanted to make some of those announcements and let you, the community, know about what's coming down the pike. All right. So here's what I want to do for my monthly tips. One of the things I've been working on with our insiders in our insider program, with the concept of not only need I taught them a little bit on Monday. And I've really been thinking about this the last couple of weeks, and I hope this is a real help to you. All right. All right. Can you guys hear me now? Hopefully I'm back now. All right. I'm not sure what happened. The audio kind of froze on my end. So can you guys, I know you guys are a little bit delayed beyond me, but it's showing that my audio is coming through now. Are you guys good? Let me know. I think we are good. All right. Perfect. Okay. So one of the things I was saying is, and I'm not sure how long I was out, is one of the things we do in our insider program is in our mastermind calls, because we have several mastermind calls, we put you into different levels according to what level you're at. And we have a coach at each level. And at the end of the call, we say, what's your DTN? And the DTN is your do this next. Now, some of you know, and I see Tom's here because Tom is, congrats to you, Tom. You took what we taught at Your Message Matters Live, this cool card game. If you guys remember this, if you showed up for live, if this will zoom in, let's see if it'll zoom. Well, let's focus. It doesn't want to focus. But we put together a card game that we played for 2 days at the live event. And the goal was to walk away with one card. For example, I just pulled this card out, and this is about writing a compact book, right? Well, Tom did that with his one-day workshop. He got 8 paying clients at his workshop that he just held. So guys, give him a shout out in the chat, because he's here, that he implemented what we're talking about. Like, do this next, pick your DTN and stay focused on that DTN. And so I started thinking about this, and I created this model that I want to share with you guys on the mindset and habits you need to have. So there are 4 daily habits we need to incorporate. And this is my monthly tips for you guys. So it's a little bit of a training, so hang with me here, okay? These are 4 daily habits that if I look back over my journey, these are the 4 habits, the 4 mindsets that I don't have a superpower. There's a lot of talented people who do things full-time for a living, and it's clear what their talent is. I don't have one, but I'm going to share with you what I think is my hidden secret here in a second and see if you guys agree with this. But let's look through these really quickly. So the first is clarity. Broken focus is our number one enemy. Let me just zoom in here so you guys can see this really, really good here. Broken focus is our number one enemy. If you are stuck, then you lack clarity. When I'm stuck, I lack clarity. Anytime I feel like I'm indecisive and I'm not making a decision, it's really that I need clarity. And this is what I told my insiders on Monday. When you lack clarity, you need to zoom out. So when in doubt, zoom out. What's the bigger picture? What is the bigger thing that I'm trying to accomplish? What's the bigger goal here? And I've got to zoom out. If I don't have clarity on, like, for example, if you don't have clarity on the chapters in your book, zoom out and say, what is the big picture of what I want this, what's the transformation that I want the reader to experience? That's zooming out. And so when we lack clarity, you got to have clarity first. And that's what I do this next thing. This is what it did for Tom. Tom got clarity walking away from the live event and said, you know what? I'm doing a one-day workshop. But it wasn't just clarity that Tom needed. We're using Tom as an example. He then had to have courage, right? You got to have courage. especially when you're doing something new. You got to take courage and you got to say, this could work, it could not work, but I got to have courage to step forward. And you can see what I wrote here. You can trace everyone's success journey back to a moment of present courage. It's that moment they bought the domain name. It's that moment Tom put out there on social media, I'm hosting a workshop, maybe even send an email to his list. Hey, I'm doing this workshop. That takes courage. You cannot do this thing and not take courage. Now, that doesn't mean you're always courageous, but you got to have moments of present courage. Because everybody that's successful, you can trace them back to when they decided to have courage. Very important. Then the third one's confidence. Now, confidence often comes into play after we've taken courage. Things may go right, they may not go right. You know, like for Tom, he started putting himself out there and maybe he's like, I don't know, this may work, this may not work. I may not get anybody. How is this going to feel? And it's in that moment between the time that Tom said I'm doing the workshop to when he did it, that the thing that he needed most was to protect his confidence and manage his emotions, right? And anytime we do something new, we're going to hit that valley of despair because it's new, it's different, something we've never done before. Of course, your confidence is going to be shaken a little bit after you have courage because things get hard, you feel more vulnerable, all of that. But when confidence fails, everything else fails. And so we have to protect it. Dan Sullivan, who has coached many 7-figure, 8-figure entrepreneurs, says the number one most important skill of an entrepreneur is to protect their confidence. You got to protect your confidence. And then, remember earlier, just a second ago, I said that I have no superpowers, but I think I have identified a hidden secret that I do have. This is it. Consistency. You know, common sense is not always common practice. If there's one thing that I feel like I did do well, not always, but more often than not, is I just kept showing up, especially in the beginning. I kept showing up. I kept recording podcasts. I kept publishing blog posts, even though no one commented. I kept, creating courses, even if only a couple people bought them in the beginning. Consistency is the hidden secret in plain sight. The successful just keep showing up. And you know what that consistency does? It breeds momentum. Consistency also makes you more trustworthy. It also helps people to respect you, to trust you more, to learn from you, because you just keep showing up. Now, as we zoom out, and this is the last thing, and I didn't want to turn this into a whole talk, but I hope this is helpful to you today. You can see I've got some red words out here. So let me ask you a question. How many of you here watching, or you're watching the replay, you want movement, you want to feel like you're moving and making progress, you want to feel motivation to get stuff done, you want to become a master in the things that you do, right? Mastering the tech skills, how to do things, and you want momentum. I think without having to wait for your comments, you're going to say yes. Well, you don't create movement, you don't create motivation, you don't create mastery necessarily, or momentum. They are on the receiving end. They're the outcomes. Okay? Movement, motivation, mastery, and momentum are the outcomes of doing some other things very well. So, for example, clarity and courage. When you have clarity on what it is you want to do, and you have the courage to do it, you have movement. Now, I know I'm using Tom a lot today, but I think it's a practical example for all of us here, okay? When Tom got clarity from the live event and said, I am going to do a one-day workshop, a paid one-day workshop, I'm going to put it out there to the community. Then he had the courage, and guess what that created for Tom? Movement. He stopped feeling stuck. He stopped feeling like, man, I don't know what to do. Movement came because he had the clarity. And by the way, did you know what the word decision actually means? The word decision is actually I forget what the root of it is as far as Latin, Hebrew, but it actually means to cut off. And so when you make a decision, it's not so much about what you're choosing to a degree as to all the stuff you're saying no to. It's making a decision. And that is what clarity does for you. When Tom made the decision, I'm doing a one-day workshop, and he started taking, then he had to have courage to actually follow through. It created movement. Now, when you have courage and you protect your confidence, that's where motivation comes. You don't sit and wait for motivation. Motivation is an outcome. It is an outcome. Stephen King was asked, and maybe some of you have heard me talk about this before. Somebody asked him, do you wait till you're motivated to write? And Stephen King says, no, motivation shows up every morning at 8 p.m. And the person laughed and said, well, why is that? He goes, because that's when I sit down to write. Writing, he writes, and then motivation comes. It's not waiting for inspiration or motivation. It is an outcome. You don't wait to get motivated. You get motivated by taking courage and protecting your confidence. And then when you have confidence to see things through and you consistently keep showing up, that's when you have mastery, my friend. That's when you start feeling like, I can do this. So for example, let's take podcasting. If you've never done podcasting before, you got to have clarity what the show's about. I'm going to use podcasting. I got to have courage to actually do the first few episodes, put myself out there. I got to protect my confidence that even though I'm still learning what I'm supposed to be doing, I haven't mastered podcasting yet. My 10th podcast should be better than my first, right? My 100th podcast should be better than my first. And once I consistently keep doing it and I'm protecting my confidence, that's when mastery sets in. When you begin to master something and feel like, you know what, I can do this. And then finally, consistency, showing up every day and being consistent to take action in your business, showing up for others and showing up for yourself, along with clarity on knowing what it is your focus and priorities are, that's where momentum comes. Momentum is a result of consistency in a singular direction. Clarity gives you the singular direction. Consistency is just taking the next step in the same direction. So I'm done preaching now. That's my sermon for you guys. Different than we normally do for our monthly tips, but I'd love to hear from you. Was that helpful to you? Is that an encouragement to you? You know, it's all these things anybody can do. You don't need talent to do any of what I just said. You don't need talent. You don't need talent to have clarity. You don't need talent to have courage. You don't need talent to have confidence. You don't need talent to keep showing up, right? You don't need talent for all those things. Yet we often tell ourselves, only the talented people are successful, and I'm not talented. Well, I'm not talented either. So what you and I have to do is we have to get clarity on the direction we're going. We have to have courage to step into that clarity. We got to protect our confidence when things get hard. And we got to keep showing up and being consistent. So there you go. All right. Tom says he accurately described me. Scary how accurate. And I don't know why this is like so small today. Let's see if we can make this bigger so you guys can see it. And let me move this over a little bit. Let's see here. All right, we're just going to go with that. Yeah, Tom, that's because you're not alone. And that's because I work with a lot of people just like you, Tom, and I'm like you. And so this is something we all face for sure. Phil, I listened to you and kept showing up for you. And the benefit is that you're giving me clarity that's improving every week. I love that. Tom says clarity with that squirrel loop, man, was that huge. It was terrifying to put it out there, but so confirming when I got the first sign up from my list. That's awesome. See you guys giving lots of congratulations. Awesome. Michelle said, yep, this is what I needed to hear today. That's awesome. Dell says the DTN framework was very helpful. CJR said until 4 are put into action, it can never be drilled in enough. Thank you. Yes, we got to do all 4. You don't stop taking courage. You don't stop taking or protecting your confidence. You don't stop being consistent, obviously, and you don't stop making decisions and getting clarity. These are things that you have to do all the time. Zig Ziglar used to say, inspiration is just like taking a bath. You got to do it daily. And these things we have to do over and over and over again, just like bathing. All right. Now, I want to answer a couple quick questions, and then we'll wrap it up today. So as long as we have questions, I'll stick around and answer some questions. I see one is here from Phil. At the live event, you talked about Facebook lead gen ads, and I'm wondering how that compares to Facebook conversion ads. Yeah. So Facebook conversion ads, Phil, are a little bit more technical. So if you have the expertise, or you have a virtual assistant, or you're outsourcing it to somebody, it's not a big deal. Facebook conversion ads, basically, to sum it up as best I can, is you have to install some Facebook pixel code on your website or funnel to be able to track how things are working. So for example, if a Facebook conversion ad can be converting a subscriber, but it can also be converting a sale. And so what you want to do is you want to have the Facebook pixel on the landing page, and then you want to have it on the thank you page. And then what that does is it can give you info back to say, like for example, I've run ads for the last 2 years for a free book, right? And so I know my numbers are somewhere around 8 to 10%. 8 to 10% of people who come from a Facebook ad will follow through on getting my book for free. The reason I know that is because I'm using conversion ads. So it is hard to run a free book funnel with lead ads. Lead ads is something completely different. So there are reasons for different things, right? In this example, I'm selling something, so I need to use a conversion ad. But people do use conversion ads just to build their email list. And you can do that with lead ads. So with lead ads, you are using, you don't need any landing pages, like we talked about at the live event. People will actually stay on Facebook and give you their email address. So with lead ads, they click on the ad on their phone. So let's say they have their phone, they're scrolling, they see your lead ad, they click on it, and it pops up and it says, hey, to get this PDF, put your email in and hit accept or download. And then what that does is it gives you the email contact information, and it'll send it to your software if you have it hooked up like ConvertKit. And you collect the lead, and they stay on Facebook, but you've collected an email address to follow up with. And you don't need a pixel, you don't need a code, you don't need any of that. You don't even need landing pages, because you can just use Facebook's landing pages and just put in a little bit of copy or an image. So that's the big difference. Is conversion ads a little bit more complicated, but it does have a purpose. Hope that helps. Phil, I think you said this, but I want to verify we won't lose access to anything that's already in Fast Track Lab. No. So you're not losing access to anything. Most of the stuff, I would say 90% of it, is going to be in what we're going to start calling the Launch Vault. You may even see that now. It's just the same place where we had our Fast Track classes, but you will see some new part of our roadmap where there's going to be new content. And that's all I'm going to say for now. Just know like new, fresh content's coming that our team is working on. It's going to be really awesome. I like the approach. This is from Dale. I like the approach and the success roadmap. Jonathan, I would love to do a future training on how we can create our own success roadmap for our business. Yes. So I think, let me see here. We either have it on the agenda or I'm just checking, see if we already did a class. I'm not sure. I think somebody else asked if we would do a class on that. Let me see here, just taking a quick peek. Let's see. If we don't, if I can't get my hand on it right now, yeah, that'll actually be something that we will cover under the plan. So it's like once you get clear on your audience, your message, your offers, under plan, we would like for you to create your own success path, success map, and maybe we can even create some templates. So for example, I got some of these templates, which I have a designer who's designed templates for me, but some of these that I've been using lately, Stu McLaren made available for people to create their own success paths. And so, yeah, that's a great idea. All right, let's see what other questions. Phil, at the live event, you talked about, oh yeah, I already did that one. Sorry. Michelle, part one, my question for today. My course site recommend that I host a free mini course before putting up my live paying course, but I've been hung up on recording the mini course. Part two is I think I've decided to just start selling the regular course anyway, and then I can add the free one. Maybe knowing it's live would help me get unstuck. How do I get unstuck? Yeah, so I'm not sure. It sounds to me, based on what you're telling me, that the software you're using is kind of forcing you or recommending to you to put together a free mini course before you put up your paid course. Is that how I understand it? I would say this is definitely, remember the map I just showed you? This is definitely a clarity. So you got to take time to be like, if I'm going to do a mini course, what is it? And if you're going to do the mini course, if it's free and you're just trying to build the list, I would keep it super simple, like 3 videos. Maybe it teaches your own success path that I just showed you. Maybe if you've got 5 steps, 3 habits, 4 qualities, and that's what you teach, maybe that's what you do. And then move right onto the course. So I wouldn't overthink it. Here's why, because everything can be changed. You can always change it later. I would just focus on getting it done as quickly as you could. Quick question. Sometime back you mentioned an app in which you can make video via your phone while reading text on your phone. What app is that? Yeah, so it is called the Prompt Smart Pro. Prompt Smart Pro. Just making sure. Pretty sure that's the one I was referring to. So this one right here, that's what it should look like. And it will allow you to use an iPad if you want to do it, but you can also, and this is showing just the iPad version. On the phone version, it will allow you to be able to see yourself. So you can record video, see yourself, but then you see words in front of your video, but those words won't be on the recording. But you can literally look directly at the phone, read the words, and it recognizes your voice as you read it. So you don't have to like have a manual way to scroll, which is really cool. All right, Phil, thank you for the info today, answering my questions. You're welcome. Thanks, Jonathan. Look forward to Lab 3.0. You're welcome. Michelle says, yes. Awesome. All right, guys. I think that's it. I think I covered all of the questions that I could see coming in. So what was your takeaway? Throw in your quick takeaway as we wrap things up for this month's office hours call. So again, put in your takeaway. And we will wrap things up. Was it related to the new lab? You're excited about the new lab, or maybe the kind of the mindset framework that I shared with you today that was an encouragement to you? Was it Prompt Smart Pro? Was it something else that I mentioned today, or somebody else here mentioned? Put it in real quick, and we will wrap this up. All right. Okay. Just making sure I covered everything as I'm waiting for some takeaways to come in. All right, looks like we did capture or do all the questions. Phil says the DTN framework was his takeaway. Yeah. Clarity, courage, confidence, consistency. For Dale, it was the new lab and the DTN mindset framework. Tom, keep showing up, keep moving with the DTN. Yes. And by the way, I'm just going to throw a little tease out there for all of you guys back to this framework. You probably noticed right here in the center, this right here. So if you're at the live event, I talked about that I like the model of launching a mini membership. That's like $7 a month as a way to not only build your recurring revenue, but as an easy onboarding to create an activate offer where new customers are coming in. So in the fourth quarter, I am going to be launching Do This Next Club. Now, this is going to be a $7 a month membership, and this is the framework. There's going to be videos on all of these, including the card game. We're going to have some tutorials, videos on the card game as well, and some other stuff, focus, productivity. It's going to be largely this Do This Next Club. It's going to be $7 a month, but it's going to be helping you on the mindset, focus, and productivity part of the business. Now, you want to know the good news? All lab members are going to get free access to Do This Next Club for as long as you're a member. So if you are a lab member, don't go anywhere, because you're also going to be getting access to this second membership site completely for free that's going to help you with the focus, productivity, mindset, making decisions. And on the clarity piece is all about this card deck right here and helping you decide what your next project should be. So yeah, I just let the secret out of the bag, but it's just because you guys here are the most committed, because you're here showing up. I wanted to pass that along to you, that as long as you're a lab member, you're going to get free access to the Do This Next Club. And that'll be launching roughly November, beginning of November. We're going to be launching the Do This Next Club. So we're already working on content for that. All right. Awesome. I see all of you. Thank you for your kind comments. It's going to be awesome. All right, guys. Thank you guys for being here today. I hope this was helpful to you. I've got another call with my Market Your Message Academy members. We do a call every Thursday. So you Academy members that are here, I'm going to be going live in about 15 minutes if you want to come hang out for that. And that's all that I got for today. Hope you guys have an awesome day. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.